Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
I can't believe I just scratched that car. Find my insurance card.
Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Oh, forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that? Oh, hey, I can do that.
Yep, it's called service.
I can file a claim on here too?
Yeah, it's called service.
Whoa, I can call my agent too?
It's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Primary care that understands you. At CHI Health Clinic, our dedicated primary care team takes time to hear you, understand you, and get to know you and your family at every stage of life. We believe in building lasting relationships with our patients. That's why we offer convenient, affordable health care close to home or work. Find out how we treat your whole family like family at chihealth.com/primary care.
Bagels & Joe is the perfect place for breakfast or lunch in September. Try their brand new caramel apple butter cream cheese or apple coffee cake muffins through their new partnership with local apple orchard Picnic Hill. 4 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Seward. Bagels & Joe.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Live from the 93.7 The Ticket studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Inside the Huddle with Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Fires a pass, and it's intercepted by the Huskers at the 25, Jay Foreman. And Foreman takes it down to the 19-yard line of Oklahoma. Another big play by the Blackshirts.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging.
Mom. What up? Good morning on this Sunday, early morning after a late night. This is Jay Foreman Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. They'll take care of all your imaging needs, and then also, like they've done for me, put together a detailed plan to hopefully get you some pain relief and some relief of the mind, body, and soul. But nevertheless, it's always a good Sunday, even though it's early been. Nebraska's 3-0. We covered it pretty extensively on the Jay Foreman postgame show. But to get into more details, you look at the numbers. The big thing that I take away from the game is that you found a way to win. I don't think the game was ever in question. You won it differently. You won a little bit of a different way. I think it was good to see kind of I think it's like what people, I guess when you're in the moment, I guess after the game, everybody's like, oh, we needed to, beat them by, 80 points. And they, sometimes forget, who you're playing. And that doesn't mean that, it's not like Northern Iowa is going to be in the college football playoffs. No. But you also have to understand that the coach has been there forever. They have a program. They have an identity. They recruit to the identity, develop to identity, and they're tough kids. And they're a big, physical, good-looking team.
Yeah, they were better up front than I thought they would be. They were solid up front for a smaller school like that, I thought.
Well, yeah, they're a big physical team. Mm-hmm. They're a good-looking team, and obviously, they're a good-looking defense. They're small, obviously not as big as Big Ten guys, but yeah, for their level, they're good, and obviously we wore them out a little bit, so we're able to do that. And so I think sometimes you just think of Nebraska playing Northern Iowa and just forget where we are or where we're going as a program and where they kind of are, right? Mm-hmm. Like every year, I think it's like rinse and repeat. If they have a really good cycle of development of a class or two, and it leads up to a year 2023, 2024, they could cause some problems at FCS. And then where you're at, where Nebraska's at, that's a pretty competitive battle if you're not coming to play.
Yeah.
So you knew it was going to be closer because they a really good rushing team, 2 big backs. Again, they have an emphasis on running the ball. And so then everybody's like, oh, well, what happened? And then obviously the time of possession was in their favor. Well, that's the way they play. That's the way they always have played. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think also you can't overlook, like we said last night, the fact that Nebraska in 3 straight possessions was able just to walk the ball down the field and do whatever, anything and everything they wanted to do.
Easily.
Right. So you don't be mad. And it wasn't this is the good thing about it, where it wasn't a type of offensive output to where they were just, like an 80-yard bomb or, like 2 plays. It was pretty efficient. They just essentially 3 minutes here, 4 minutes here, boom, 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 we score. I think that's what led them to have more possession as far as Northern Iowa. But then Northern Iowa started to crank up the run game a little bit, so we need to probably, tighten that up. But ultimately, I think the positive about from it is we saw that the passing game, we were able to spread our wings a little bit and let Dylan kind of, I call it like shake a tail feather. He threw it 23 times, very comfortable in the pocket. Third down efficiency 4-7, which is great. And then also that lets me know that you're getting, we're getting a lot of first downs.
Yeah, 7's not that many.
Right, because we were moving the ball pretty easily. And then, his completion percentage was good. I liked it to where he was timely pass or timely running, right? He had the bootleg, and then a couple other times he tucked it and got out of bounds. Real smart on his part. And then also I like that he was able to spread the ball around to, a multitude of receivers. Now, granted, everybody's looking, okay, well, we got to throw it outside, to those, Nair and Banks, right? Well, we started getting the inside part of the field working, right? Carter Nelson, you had Ramir, you had Fedoni a couple times. So it looked like they were trying to, I wouldn't say that they were trying to emphasize certain players or certain things, but I felt like they were able to add another like chink in their armor, or like something else, a feather in their cap, or another addition, because there's like 3 or 4 different ways they can attack you. And that's what makes an offense eventually, when it gets rolling, dangerous. Because if you're having to guard 53 and a third, and then you're having to game plan for every single, like the first, second, third guy at every unit, as a defensive coordinator, scouting department, and then also all the guys can run the same plays somewhat efficiently, especially the running back room. And then obviously with the slot position where you have IGC, obviously Bonner, and then obviously Carter Nelson, it provides, I know from a defensive standpoint, a little bit of more anxiety as far as, when, who you have to prepare for, how you, prepare on week in and week out, and so, you had some explosive plays, right? When you have, Jalen Lloyd went for 60 yards, Carter Nelson had a 24-yarder, Emmett Johnson had a 24-yarder, Nair had 18. That's almost kind of explosive. And then you had, explosive in the run game. So the explosive plays are more readily, and they're not quarterback keeps and kind of like by surprise. These are legit, I call them conventional plays, play action, scheming it up, doing it. And you can even have more, right? Because whether it's the interception, it was a great play by the Northern Illinois defender. Now it was a little bit underthrown, but that's just part of the learning process. But still, that's a once in a season play for him. I like it that we were able to stretch the field a little bit and put something on tape that Illinois on a short week has to think about. They have 3. I want your opinion on this. They have 3 different styles of games to prepare for, offensively and defensively as well. So that means that they're going to be spread thin a little bit on a short week. I think and I don't know if Nebraska was trying to do it, but there's 3 different games that they have to evaluate that Nebraska's won 3 different ways. So you have to be prepared for more than one thing, which is great.
Yeah.
But then also adds a lot of stress on it's not just one day. It's actually 2 because of the travel day.
Yeah.
And Illinois' game probably didn't get over enough or in time because they're recruiting, right? The recruiting weekend, to where they can sit back and watch. So it's actually, you get 2.5 days. So the advantages for Nebraska as far as preparation goes.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Because, I mean, against the UTEP game, you were kind of doing a little bit of everything, running the ball really well, doing some play action throwing. Against Colorado, you kind of just running it down their throat. A lot of short passes, screens, jet sweeps across in the backfield. And then against Northern Iowa, you kind of just let the ball go and let it fly. You were kind of throwing it all over. And that was kind of the part of the game I was really wanting to see in this game was, okay, can Nebraska push the ball downfield and when they have to? Because against Colorado, I felt like the wide receivers were having a hard time getting separation against those Colorado corners.
Right.
That was kind of my biggest takeaway from that game was I was like, yeah, Nebraska was running the ball really well, but the wide receivers weren't getting open too often for Raiola, and he had quite a bit of time in the pocket. So that was kind of what I was looking for, and they kind of bounced back against Northern Iowa.
Look, I mean, Colorado, you got the best play. First of all, you got the number one.
Yeah,
Travis Hunter is number one corner, one of the top receivers. He's just the number one player in the nation, and the other corner is pretty dang good too. And if you know that when Deion's the coach, they're going to play man. I mean, that's what they're going to do, and that's been Colorado's like game, MO. They're trying to submarine and stop the run. So I think Nebraska was proving a point last week. We're going to beat you up, and so we got a text here from Tater. This is pretty funny, and this is kind of
I don't know if he's talking about us or just regular fans.
No, distant fans.
All right.
He said Husker. We won't get into it, but it's kind of what I said last night. Now you got to always, my grandma and grandpa and my mom used to always tell me like kind of they always say how soon they forget, how soon you forget how, where you are when you're having success. You never forget where you were. But the text here is from Tater. We appreciate you being up here early on after a win. Everybody's usually coming out of celebratory coma. Tater says it really pisses me off that we're 3-0 for the first time in 8 years, and some Husker fans still have the audacity to complain about our output. Take the wins, better than losing by 3 week in and week out, and that's true.
Yeah.
I hated hearing the whole thing of a few years ago we're the best. You were obviously still in school. Or we're the best 3-9 team in history. I mean,
I hated that.
Man, I
hated that.
That's like getting the first place loser trophy.
I hate it when people say that.
Yeah, but I mean, it is true. But it's one of those things. You're so close, but yet so far. Because if you at that point in time, you're losing those close games. You didn't know how to finish, and some of the things that people are screaming for right now, as far as just throwing it, okay, get a lead and just start playing loosey goosey with the ball and forgetting how you got that lead, is how you end up losing those close games because you give teams the ability to come back on you, an opportunity to come back because the ball can bounce one way. They could start to figure things out. You start to playing out of your kind of wheelhouse a little bit, and you start to bring them closer to yourself by doing that. And we've done that over the 2 or 3 regimes prior, right? And then here we are now, and I think Coach Rule might have referenced it. He said, "Hey, listen, we're trying to get the lead, play defense, beat you up, and grind the game out." Now they understand they can still crank it up, and sure, they've been able to play we've always been able to play the way that we've wanted. It hasn't been comfortable, but we've been able to play. We've had control of the game, maybe lost it some, got control of it, and finished. That's what and this is just because I obviously played, right? And I don't ever try to, I don't ever pull the NFL card or anything like that, or the playing, championship card or anything like that. But learning how to win, I said this last night. The 2 things that I think that people like evaluators don't look and emphasize enough as they're evaluating like players and stuff like that is, one, there's 2 skills that don't get mentioned, and you don't get a star ranking for this. And that's just the way it is. It should. It's a skill set now that you have to evaluate effort and intent. You used to not have to worry about that because you just didn't know any better, and you did exactly what the coach did, and that was a foregone conclusion that you went above and beyond. That is something, and the reason why I know it's important now because it was referenced, I think, by Coach Satterfield and Coach Rule about the effort and the intent that Dylan Raiola is operating on, right? First one in.
They stay kind of on another level.
Right. First one in, last one out. Studies hard, knows the why in the playbook, is next level. That's what that is, right? And that's what we knew, and that's the only thing we knew. If you wanted to play, you had to do that. So he has that old school mentality, kind of with a new age, obviously, look and everything. So that's a skill set that doesn't get a star ranking. That's the separator from, say, a 3 or 4 star recruit or another 5-star recruit, and how he's able to handle himself in a high pressure situation here at Nebraska and looks like he's, sophomore, junior. Then the other one is the ability and the want to win and knowing how to win. And that's another thing he does. And that's another thing that a majority of the guys that they've brought in is they've either learned or they knew how to do is how to work, right? The effort and intent, and then knowing and willing to learn how to win. That is so huge because that's how you get a game like last night. Now, was it perfect? No, right?
No, it's not perfect.
Was Colorado perfect? No. Was UTEP perfect? No. It's a process of learning how to win and winning while you're still building, teaching, motivating, molding, and all that. And here's an example I gave last night. So if everybody was probably out partying or whatever, but we had a lot of views and listeners last night on the Jay Foreman postgame show. And then hopefully this season turns out like I remember Minnesota in 2019, and this is kind of when the Thursday I call it the week 0 or the Thursday game of the week 1, the Minnesota Gopher Open. Is like PJ Fleck was trying to get some notoriety of the program, and they play every Thursday. It's like on their schedule. It's smart because it's kind of like a preseason bowl game. So I watched them play South Dakota State up in Minnesota. Watched it was on TV. And and still to this day, I remember the game was tied, and South Dakota State had control of the game. Minnesota kind of got a fluke explosive play to get back into the game, and Ben, it was like third and 8, cover 3. I mean, this is you see cover 3 at Seacrest Field.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah,
the outside linebacker forgot to drop, and he dropped. This is honest to God truth, and dropped late. They hit the guy in the flat on a crucial 3rd down. He turns it up and scores. They end up tying or taking the lead in the game. You make that play, South Dakota State wins this game. Well, that's a win for Minnesota. It's ugly. Maybe we shouldn't have won. Well, then the next week, they go out to Fresno. And I remember a couple years prior, Nebraska played out there, and it was hot as Hades out there. Well, Minnesota goes into double overtime and pulls out a victory against Fresno. Now, people forget because they see the end, 11-2, Penn State. They should have never been in overtime. Fresno had a 2-score lead, and they didn't clock manage. They didn't situational football, kind of like start doing some things that they didn't do before, and let Minnesota get more possessions to get back into the game in overtime and then win. Minnesota comes home 2-0 by the hair on their chinny chin chin. They beat Georgia Southern by 3 points. Georgia Southern ran the ball for like 500 yards. That's every time you saw it was like Georgia. But Minnesota was able to win by 3. So guess what? You're 3-0 instead of 0-3. You're finding ways to win. The vibe is totally different. And then now you're starting to really be able to hone some skills because you're able to win some games. Now our season isn't like that. But when you're in this position where people are, complaining or worried about how it looks, but you're still winning, it's a good thing because you're still winning. Yeah. We've been on the other side. And it led to Minnesota continually to kind of raise the bar, but then play better. And then it came to fruition at home against Penn State. And remember, they beat Penn State. And that kind of jettisoned PJ Fleck and that Minnesota program to a respectable program in the Big Ten. And so if Nebraska can continue along and do that, then then that's where you can really be having realistic expectations week in and week out. So it's never going to be as pretty as you like, and it's never as good or bad as it seems in the moment. And plus you played a pretty tough opponent, and you knew that they were going to come down here and compete.
Yeah. Matt Rule, I don't think it was I think it was last week's post game. He said, every week we're just trying to win by 1 point. That's the goal. You win by 1 point. It doesn't matter if it's ugly, looks pretty. They just want to win by 1 point every week, go 1-0 every single week. And we also have to remember, this is only year 2 under Matt Rule. It's not like he's been here for 5 years where you're like, okay, maybe some of these small mistakes shouldn't happen. This is year 2 under Matt Rule.
Yeah, and you got to clean up a lot of stuff that's been here before, the different mentality. I think the biggest thing that he has to do, with the transfer portal, the team is different. It's always kind of different. And then you're recruiting, and you're in the first year, I feel like a coaching staff, you're kind of like spinning your wheels and just, you're catching up on the NCAA regulation, how it is in the Big Ten, the new Big Ten, the new college football. there's a ton of stuff going on, and then obviously you had change in administration and all that. So there's going to be learning problem, but he's done. It seems like pretty seamlessly where he's able to come in and reshape the locker room. I like it that guys, if you play well, you're going to play. Like if you so, and that's all. I know as a player, when in the NFL you bring in when a new coach come in. Back when I played, they were trying to run any good players out of there because they just wanted to start fresh, and they'd only they'd either cut a big name player or only keep one, and then it was reset, and let a lot of good players. Where he was like, hey, look, if you're all my players, if you're good, you're going to play. I think it's been a really good transition. I will say this before we go to break. I always try to highlight the guys that stepped up, when called upon. Obviously, Northern Iowa came in with two big backs. I mean, two big dudes, man. One was 6'4", 240. The other one 6 foot, 6'1", 225. They bringing the thump now with the offensive line. They're coming downhill at you. Defensively, I want to give a shout out to a guy that's really raised his level of play over the last 2 years. Local kid, John Bullock, right? When I was down there, he was kind of a safety, kind of hybrid, really good athlete. And then last year, in the weight program, reshaped himself and became a linebacker, became a co-starter or whatever you want to call it. And then it started to come on, right? And look, he had a real big transition. I made it myself where you go from defensive back to linebacker, and he did it under a higher pressure situation where he didn't have, he had Luke Reimer and Nick to kind of show him, but he was trying to get bigger, faster, and stronger and getting bigger and keeping his speed and athletic ability, and then playing in a totally different system in a 3-3-5. Yeah. But he stepped up big yesterday. He stepped up big last week. You saw the 4th down play where he shot the gap, got the tackle for loss, staking the heart against Colorado in the second half. Yesterday, he had a sack, 9 tackles, and a tackle for loss. That young man was pretty active.
I know we're wanting to go to break here soon, but in your playing time here in Nebraska, did that happen too often where someone would be kind of coming into the program as kind of like a safety, maybe a little bit hybrid linebacker, and he gets converted to a linebacker? Like, did you ever have that happen? And if so, how difficult of a change is that?
It's a huge change. I mean, for me, I played offense primarily in high school. Now we had Lawrence Phillips and those guys. I was like, yeah, this defense things look a lot better, and I was not gonna play wing back, and they were heavy in the blocking and cut blocking. So I just felt like I felt I was too good to do that. I don't know. And then Coach Darlington didn't think I could be a safety, which is probably still questionable. So I was able to kind of redshirt and take my lumps and play linebacker and learn. So I was able to do what he did, redshirting. So I did it under lower pressure situation. He's out there going, where I had to play. So I don't, that's why I'm going to give him a lot of props. Before we go to break, I want to give Isaac Gifford some props too. He had 10 tackles, right? So he's very active.
Team leading, right?
Yeah, and he had a tackle or 1.5 tackles for loss. So you want to give him props. And then offensively, I want to give Emmett Johnson some props. Look, he's he got Dowdell. Right, Dowdell has been kind of taking the bull by the horn, and then he comes in. Obviously, had a big explosive 36-yard touchdown. But look, I think also his energy in the second half in the passing game. 3 catches, 43 yards, I think was huge as well. So anytime that you can, keep at it, keep staying, long, they call it the process and all that. And then when you get your chance, no matter what the stake of the game, keep proving yourself. You got to give them props. So those 3 players, I think, stepped up, and plus many of them, but you want to give them props. So you guess you could throw Carter Nelson in there because he had his first touchdown, but those 3 guys, they needed him and they did it yesterday. So we'll take a quick break. Inside the Huddle, Jay Foreman, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging. We'll be right back.
Are your feet just killing you? You feel like all hope is lost? Say goodbye to discomfort and hello to pain relief at Brown Shoe Fit. They offer expert advice along with high-quality products to help you find the right solution tailored to your specific needs. Need a different width? Not a problem. Brown's carries a wide range of widths in store. Brown Shoe Fit on 66th and Q.
You can help fight deadly diseases like RSV and influenza while getting paid for your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive compensation for study-related time. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. That's velocitytrials.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
You're counting on your team to win, so why not prove it? By placing your bets at Warhorse Sportsbook. Their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here in Lincoln. This is Abby with Midwest Bank. Stop by our new location at 70th and Pioneers. Our new full-service branch does it all. From our friendly staff to our easy online banking and mobile app, you get all the technology of a big bank that you need, but you still get the hometown customer service that you want. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank. Member FDIC.
Follow the Huskers to the City of Angels when Nebraska plays at USC in November. Book your official Nebraska alumni travel package at HuskerFanTravel.com. Choose from 2 or 3 night options that include a downtown LA hotel, exclusive welcome event, game day transportation, and the official Husker Huddle pregame party. Add on game tickets for an optional upgrade. Transportation to and from LA not included. Join the official Nebraska alumni trip to see the Huskers play at USC. Spots are limited, so book your trip now at HuskerFanTravel.com.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Brought to you by General Fire and Safety, Raisin Canes, Perch Merch, Sunbelt Rentals, Mullen Motors, Select Plumbing, and the Kindler Hotel on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Early break.
This is the group chat of the three-legged stool.
1 minute into the game.
Yep.
Jake Sorensen. Dolphins offense looks like feces. 1 minute into the season. 14-0 Jacksonville. Season over. Yeah, and I said, maybe next year, Jake. That's been my motto for 33 years. It gets better. Fins down 17-7 at half. There is someone booing in Brewskis. That someone is me.
I didn't see that one. That's funny.
That was funny.
That's funny.
That meltdown was unbelievable. You were 1 minute into the season.
It was startling.
Early break from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. Back to Inside the Huddle, sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging. Here is your host, Jay Foreman.
What up, we're back. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. All your imaging needs. I will tell you, Ben, I should have a VIP card.
Why is that?
At Advanced Medical Imaging?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All the
Like
way you tout them around, you should.
Yeah, well, no, it's not. I'm there and in there all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm in there. I'm going to be in there real soon.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I was actually, funny thing, I had an MRI scheduled for yesterday at like 1:30. I was like, yeah, this is not going to work. Like, now the way things worked out, I probably should have went, but game days are a little, as we know, a little bit funky, and I didn't want to, get behind schedule.
Mm-hmm.
But they're taking good care of me, man. I think I got a lot of physical issues from football and stuff, and
yeah.
You get a little wary of doctors. Heck, look at Tua.
Mm-hmm.
You get wary of team doctors and stuff like that, and just let alone get over to Advanced Medical Imaging. They now I'm done playing, and older, you kind of, they obviously they put together it's like a partnership. They kind of walk me through the process and stuff. So I'm confident when they're able to, do the imaging stuff, but then also point me in the right direction and give me options on who to talk to afterwards and people they trust. So it's a team effort. I always feel like pretty soon I'm gonna be walking around like Frankenstein with all these different operations I'm probably gonna get. But one thing that we're about to operate on next week, Ben, is those Fighting Illini.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a 30-9 victory over Central Michigan. So, the pressure was on them to defend home court and, potentially come in here ranked. So you're going to have two ranked teams potentially on Friday night, 6:30 primetime on a Big Ten, I think Big Ten game, right?
Yeah.
And so you look at, Brett Bielema, he's a stalwart in the Big Ten. He knows how to coach in the Big Ten. We've played him. We played him last year, played him there on a Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was, a good hard-fought victory. So exactly Illinois is they are who they are, and the defensively they had some special players last year. They got a couple really good guys this year, and I think they're a little bit more explosive on offense. I think their quarterback is kind of set now, and Luka Altmaier, he threw 2 TDs, and the one thing about him, what he reminds me of? It reminds me of a dude that is a quarterback, and every time he, scrambles for 8-10 yards, he's kind of like smiling and stuff. So we got to hit this dude. And he likes to roll out to his right and throw to his right. And they got a pretty good tight end, but they got one receiver, Bryant, who I saw at the beginning of the year when they play Illinois State or one of the Illinois teams. One thing I like to watch on a team like Illinois is how they are that first game, to see what they have potentially worked on that's different than what they've done in the past. And the one thing that stood out to me is offensively, they've put an emphasis on trying to be more explosive in their pass, taking more chances.
Yeah, Illinois doesn't take a lot of chances.
But they did the first game. So as much as like they got to prepare for us, I think for them, that's what they think that they put an emphasis on. And I don't necessarily say it's because they can't run the ball, but I think they feel like in order to be, at par or potentially start to work above par offensively and as a team, they had to put more emphasis on taking more shots. And so their high volume guy is Pat Bryant. We remember him, decent prospect. He, but when you look at Dixon had a 33-yard long reception, Bryant had 31, Franklin had 23. So it lets you know right there they're trying to be more explosive, right? And that the emphasis on what they're trying to do, right? Franklin's the wide receiver, good looking prospect, right? Through 3 games, right? He has 16 receptions. So volume.
Yeah.
Right? Volume. So how do you get to that volume? They'll throw some stop routes. They'll get the ball to him, crossing routes, slant routes, trying to get him 6'1", 200 pounds, 190, that what is he's listed. They're trying to get you some run after the catch, right? So they're going to test your, I call it your play entry. That means you're either setting the, whoever's, setting the edge in the pass game. That means essentially that the point of attack, play entry, and then overflow, right? You have to be excellent there. And then also that you need to come out of the stack. What that means is the defensive linemen need to rush the passer, obviously, hopefully hit the quarterback, sack the quarterback. But if you're not, you got to be busting your tail out of there and be the secondary tackler. Now, the other guy is Pat Bryant, right? Both of them are seniors, 6'3", 200. So now you got, so what they're trying to do is be big, physical, Big Ten receivers, right? Get it, Debo, you run after the catch, go from there, right? We talked about Franklin, 16 receptions. Bryant, 15. That's 5 a game.
Yeah.
Right? That's 10 receptions. If you just take the averages, right? That's where he's going, which is great for them because they've been able to be pretty consistent at it, right? I think Bryant has 4 touchdowns, right? So they're going to him. He's like their big play receiver, averages 16 yards a catch. And then you got Franklin, the other volume guy. He doesn't have any touchdowns, so that lets me know he's more of your kind of run after the catch, your setup guy. So jump balls and all that stuff, you're looking at Bryant. Now, what that means is like exactly what I was saying, that they've put an emphasis on being more explosive. Defensively, you know where you need to go. You know where you need to kind of obviously have your eyes on, and then you can really try to clamp down on their run game. They got 2 big backs again, right? Fagan is essentially 6'3", 230 guy, big old back, and then they got Josh McCray, who was a big time recruit, I think at one point in time, 6'1", 235. I remember when he first came in as a freshman because they had Chase Brown, and he looked so much different. That Chase Brown is like 5'10", 205, 210, one of the best running backs in the nation at that time. And McCray would look like a DN out there. So you got some big running backs. And so you got to really get up on these dudes and win the line of scrimmage and win first and second down. And then you got to really set the tone and to get some knockback. Yeah. Knockback is huge. Because you want to take any type of good energy out of a play. So what knockback is, Ben, is like, say, like me and you make a tackle. We want to finish him, and obviously not after the whistle. We want to knock him back. No yards after contact, no yards.
Finish the play.
Yeah. No slippery, like 1 or 2 yards, because you want to keep Illinois like at or behind the chains. At or behind the chains. 2 big backs. So they let you know they're going to try to be physical and then be explosive on the outside. And then also you got to make sure you don't let their tight end get off. But ultimately, I think it's a good challenge for the defense to, prove their dominance come Friday night.
Do you think we're going to see a very similar defensive scheme from Nebraska? They kind of, in each of these 3 games, they've kind of I feel like they haven't blitzed very much, kind of dropping back in zone, letting them kind of throw whatever they want underneath, but not wanting to let big plays up. Do you feel like you're going to kind of see a similar scheme for Nebraska in that kind of sense?
I think Nebraska, and I have enough confidence in Coach White. I'm not in their meetings or anything, but just I feel like they feel like I feel like our defense is good enough, and like we don't gotta blitz it. We could just play.
If bend don't break is kind of what the mentality I feel like it's been so far.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say it's that. I think the defense under Shenander a couple years ago was bend but don't break, and then I think this defense has made more plays turning the ball over.
Yeah,
more tackles for losses
from last year.
Right, more tackles for losses, especially last week against Colorado. I think they feel comfortable that they can line up, not just play one defense, but just go play football.
Yeah,
and that's what you want. Now, look, they can get, I don't know, quote unquote exotic and all that stuff and do different things, right? I'm sure they're doing a lot more than it seems to the naked eye. But I think that we're good enough that we can play football, right? And that's what you want. Now, you want to, because once you get good enough to play football, that means we don't have to overexpose ourselves in order to create tackles for losses. We got good defensive line play and depth, right? And obviously, a lot of guys played last night. So we got a lot of that where we can put guys in that can all make plays. we feel comfortable like with, Deshaun Singleton made a really good play on the quarterback, kind of like it was like a quarterback sweep led by the running back, and he came out and he was an alley filler, really good tackle. So I feel like, we're in a position to where we can go play defense. Now we got to win. This is a great game to where exactly is no fair dodging, as I like to say. You know exactly what they're going to try to do. You know exactly who they are. They think they're going to be tougher than you, and they're going to try to beat you up. Now it's up for us to do the exact opposite, beat them up and reset the line of scrimmage. Now it's not going to be just, all right, throw it deep and all that. They're going to try to do some different things. But I think also if we do what we need to do and play to our potential, we'll be just fine.
Are you at all concerned about Nebraska only getting 1 sack last night? Because against Colorado, they were pressuring the quarterback last night pretty well. They only had 1 sack though,
Yeah.
a bulk sack. Are you concerned about that or not?
No, not really.
Okay.
I think sometimes sacks you can be misled by sacks, right?
Mhm.
So you could have 4 sacks, right? And here's how, I saw this as a teammate of David Carr. Whereas, say there was games we gave up 6 sacks, but 3 of them were because he, ran out of bounds behind the yard marker. There's 3 sacks. Then the offense line did give up 3, so Pittsburgh's thinking like they got 6 sacks when actually they only got 3. But otherwise, they didn't really pressure the quarterback, and we threw it 40 sometimes, right? So I think the biggest obviously would like to get a ton of sacks. We can't do it as much as we used to. I like hitting the quarterback.
And they were hitting the quarterback
right, and they were
last night.
destroying the Princewell.
Mhm. That
Knocked
was a
him,
big hit.
Yeah, knocked him out of the game. And clean hit too.
It was clean.
You're right. That's what's great about it.
Mhm.
I like hits on the quarterback. I like touching the quarterback, constantly touching the quarterback.
Mhm.
More importantly, getting him off his spot, screwing up their rhythm, along with sacks. So I would take this. I would take 3 sacks, 2 to 3 sacks, but more hits and more times getting them off the spot versus 5 sacks and no other pressure outside of those 5 plays.
Yeah.
Because I think what'll happen when you hit the quarterback and getting them off that spot, it will allow our back end to make more plays on the ball and be better on 3rd down. That's just me.
Yeah.
So I'm not concerned about it, but obviously I think the good thing about it when you win, Ben, we talked about this, whether it's Minnesota or Nebraska's at right now, you're winning, but there's a ton of stuff you can coach on. So if you're a coach, or if I'm a coach, and Ben, you're in my defensive meeting, yeah, we won, but I'm challenging you guys. We need to get, like you said, we need more sacks. We need more hits on the quarterback. So you constantly
always something you can improve.
Always something to improve, kind of moving the inch in the goal line away from them and having them a goal that they can try to attain, I think is a good thing. So, and then offensively, I think we got to just continue to stay on rhythm. Also, we're going to have to, just assuming Illinois is going to be a physical team, and so we got to be able to establish the run game. We got to be efficient in the pass game. And we got to just get in the rhythm. We can't have any procedure penalties. I think the penalties were low last night. I think we're at 3 or 4.
Offense had no penalties.
Right. Offense had no penalties and a couple, other mishaps. And, obviously we can't run into the punter and all that. But so we got to clean those up, offensively continue to be efficient. And then, whether it's the run to set up the pass, pass set up the run, we got to do what we got to do. And everybody's got to raise their level of play. And it starts today, for them. So I think it's going to be a good match. And before we go to break, you were talking to me about, during the break of what it's like on a short week. Now in the NFL, it's different because you would play Sunday. So say you play Sunday at 12, you're done by 3, then you play Thursday.
That's a short week.
That's a short week. Essentially, you have a day to get ready to play. And I'm going to tell you this. A lot of times when I played on Sundays, I didn't start feeling good physically until Saturday afternoon.
Really?
And sometimes not until Sunday. I knew my body, because of adrenaline, I'd be ready to go.
That's crazy.
And that's not even 100. I'm never 100%, but good enough to go out there and perform.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday was a really short week. It's a matter of survival. That's why you see so many blowouts and also I think some big time injuries, right? Because your body just hasn't recovered.
Yeah.
For Nebraska, or just in my experience, or assuming what they're going to have to do, only affects you if you're not prepared. I think what you have to do is combine days, emphasis on it's mental. You got to get enough physical in when it's the right time, right, to hit and have practices. But you got to be big time mentally into the game, physically as far as practicing, but then more importantly, the recovery. is huge. The rest is huge. The timing of practice, the length of practice. And then you got to be in your playbook and the situational football because we can take advantage of being at home and then a night game. Now, it's different playing, Friday night games. Fridays are usually night games. But if you have a short turnaround and just say by chance, say you play out on the West Coast, right? And say you had plane trouble. Here's an example. Say you play Saturday night out at Washington, right? Say a Midwest team or like Rutgers goes out there. Say your plane is late and then you don't get all the way back to New Jersey or the Midwest until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, now you already are in a short week, even if you have a Saturday, because guess what? When you play Saturday at 11, that's a condensed week because now your Sunday is shot because you're not even getting back to the wee hours in the morning. So you're behind schedule come Monday. Now you got to curtail your Monday's work, if any. Then you're behind the 8 ball on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes Friday. Boom. Now you're up at 6 o'clock in the morning for an 11 o'clock game. So that can be a condensed or a short week without a short week schedule. Whereas, like, I think Nebraska and these guys, and I think Coach Rule, I'm sure they've played on Thursday night games or like when he was in the pros.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a game plan for it. And so will Illinois. I think but the advantage, we could take advantage of this situation because we're at home. We know our confines and we can get more done without having to travel. You got to think when you travel, right?
Yeah, definitely harder.
You leave at, say, like 4 in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon. So you land here. Let's say they fly into Lincoln. So if they leave at 3:30, they land at 5:15. You're 5:30 on the bus. You don't get over to where they stay right there. 6:30. You have a meal, and then you just get into film. And that's what they short walk through with classes on Thursday. The game's Friday. Yeah, you can walk through somewhere in the ballroom. They ain't like they're really getting out there and shaking your legs, right? And then now you got to play a game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now you'll have your trainers and stuff like that, but you won't be at home. You won't have your own cold tubs. You won't have your own hot tubs. You know what I mean? You don't have all that. Now they'll be prepared. Now, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But we can take advantage of it if we use it right, and everybody's understanding the magnitude of this game right here.
Real quick, last question before we go to break. Are you a fan of Thursday night football in the NFL, or do you wish they would just kind of get? Because I agree with you. I feel like there's a lot of injuries that happen on those Thursday night games because it's a short week. Do you kind of wish they maybe get rid of it because of that?
I like Thursday night football. I like it if it's after a bye week. I don't like. I don't like. I think I played.
That's a good idea.
Here, I'll tell you a story real quick. When we played in Buffalo, with Greg Williams, we played on Sunday, and then we went out to San Francisco, playing on Thursday night. It was around Halloween. Then I'll tell you, they looked like they were on warp speed. They were moving at a rate of speed. I was like, holy crap. Garrison Hurst, Terrell Owens, Jeff Garza. I mean, they ran us out the gym. And so you see a lot of blowouts just because of not being able to be, recovered and stuff like that. I like Thursday night games. I just wish they would come. The schedules were set so teams coming off a bye week have a kind of game, and they kind of get another bye week because they don't play that Sunday. So they kind of get I think playing Sunday and then playing Thursday is too much.
I agree, because it just sucks when your favorite player is on an NFL team or the best player on an NFL team gets hurt because they have the short week. Like you said you would sometimes not feel healthy usually until Saturday,
right?
And we're talking about Thursday, not even Friday. Thursday
to go out there and play a game, and then let alone just say if somebody has a slight ankle injury, they could probably play if it's Sunday to Sunday. If they have to play, if they get hurt on Sunday, they probably won't be able to play Thursday. So imagine,
that affects the game.
That affects the game, but it affects also the fan experience. So just say one of your favorite players was about to play the Chiefs on Thursday, but he gets dinged up in the prior game, but he doesn't get to play. Yeah. So I think that look, when you have Thursday game, there's probably no perfect answer. I just think that coming off a bye week,
that would
be the best. Yeah, it would be the best. So me and Ben just problem solve the whole world. But this is Jay Foreman inside the Huddle, Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Quick break, put a bow on this early morning on a Sunday, Victory Sunday. We'll be right back.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring your friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, this deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
You can help fight deadly diseases like RSV and influenza while getting paid for your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive compensation for study-related time. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. That's velocitytrials.com.
As a proud member of the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance, Coalition Restoration stands out by providing thorough property assessments, personalized customer service, and top-notch craftsmanship. With years of experience in the industry, Coalition Restoration has built a notable reputation for having a team filled with skilled professionals and possessing the expertise to handle any roofing project, big or small. Visit their website today for a free roof assessment at www.coalitionrestoration.com or give them a call at 402-607-8186.
Be sure to check out the top-selling Recomp. Recomp helps build lean muscle and strength while decreasing body fat. Recomp is ideal for men and women of all ages trying to look their best. Recomp can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
You're spending $300 a month. Binge drinking is the most common form of excessive drinking, which costs the United States more than $191 billion each year. By drinking less, you will save $300 a month. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
It's the greatest time of the year again. Kickoff is here and football is officially back. Over 1 million fans across 33 states got in the game last year by making picks on Underdog, and this year you can too. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward and signing up is even easier. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com and sign up with promo code EARLY, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code EARLY to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Must be 19 plus in Nebraska and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Primary care that understands you. At CHI Health Clinic, our dedicated primary care team takes time to hear you, understand you, and get to know you and your family at every stage of life. We believe in building lasting relationships with our patients. That's why we offer convenient, affordable health care close to home or work. Find out how we treat your whole family like family at chihealth.com/primary care.
All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before we head out. We have a lot of people coming to the tailgate today. I'm ready. Burgers? Check. Chips? Check. Icy cold beer? Check. Except this one. I'm forgetting something. Wait a second. Where's the Führer's cheese spread? I can't stop eating it. Rico, relax. I always pack extra. It's the biggest hit of the tailgate.
For the best appetizer, party dip, and tailgate snack, load up on Führer's cheese spread today in most local grocery stores.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in Southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or Northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. F Foundation Repair. We fix basements.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
You're listening to Inside the Huddle with Jay Foreman, sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging.
Well, we're back inside the Huddle. Jay Foreman, Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Quick show after a victory. Early show, obviously after a late night. But when Nebraska's 3-0, it's all good. We covered the game last night. Got a little look into Illinois. Like I was saying, and pretty much got alluded to. I think if I'm a defensive player, I'm looking at it as a challenge this week that we can win this game. So I like how we stack up against them. And looking at it, try to, continue to cement ourselves and put our names out there on the map. We got some texts coming in with the Mazuka missing last night. People were asking what happened. I think the only thing that Coach Rule said is a coach's decision. So who knows? It could be something small, could be something big, but either way, I think he said he's not off the team. So, as long as he gets his stuff together, I'm sure he'll, get another shot. But ultimately, I think that, Latowski, came in, didn't look too bad. And he's played before. And I think when you have some, I think in the years prior, when you lose a guy, and this is what for fans, I would look at it like when things like this happen, especially in the NFL, this is the way we looked at it. We looked at it like, say a guy, there's a couple teammates, that might have failed a drug test or something, right? We just looked at it like he had a high ankle sprain and then he'll be back. Or, he got knocked out of a game or something like that. So that's the way I look at it. But when you have some depth and you've developed along the offensive line, like Coach Donnie has said he wanted to do, he didn't want to just have 5 starters. He wanted to have 10 guys that could go and play and be flexible as far as what positions they've played. As far as along the offensive line, this is where you prepare for this, whether somebody gets injured or has something else going on. But I'm sure, hopefully, he'll be back and stuff because, he's a big old dude.
Yeah, definitely needed.
Yeah, always. You need linemen, and you need linemen like you need DBs and stuff like that. So otherwise, I think, look, it's onward and upward, man. It's going to be a good week. I think it's a good opportunity. Anytime you can play with national eyes on you, coming from where you came from, obviously you haven't been ranked for 8-9 years, ranked again. Haven't been 3-0 for 8 years or whatever the texter said. My man Tater said, I got a great chance and opportunity to play Illinois and go 4-0.
Yeah, last time they were 3-0 was 2016, I believe. And
that was last bowl game.
Yeah, and then they were ranked in 2019, but I think it was only for maybe a week or two.
Yeah,
it was just and they were number 24, so they're
and I think that's when we got beat pretty bad by Ohio State. So it's been some time since 2016 when we made a bowl game. So onward, upward, a lot of work to be done. Appreciate everybody listening early, 8 o'clock in the morning here for the next few weeks, and then we'll see what happens after that. But this is Inside the Huddle. Jay Foreman, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging. We'll holler at you next week after another victory. We're out.
Lane's Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends.